one and all connected in this virtual meet. On behalf of Panimalar Engineering College, Management, Principal, Institute Innovation Council, we welcome Mr. Anwar Basha, Assistant Professor, Department of CSE, SRM Institute of Science and Technology. We are very excited to have you for the session, sir. So, with great excitement, I would like to call Mr. Anwar Basha, sir, for entering the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yeah, I'm sharing the screen. Can you able to see the PPT which one
Yes, sir.
Is it visible for you guys?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for your welcome note. Myself, Anwar Basha, I'm working in SRM University, Vadapayani campus as an assistant professor, as well as a placement officer in this campus. Students, today I hope the participants. Today I'm going to discuss about virtualization and cloud computing. Why do we want to know about virtualization and cloud computing? It's a very hot topic nowadays. If you are going to do whatever research, okay, related to AI, related to big data, related to IoT, where you are going to process your data and store your data. That's an ultimate aim of that project. The AI, big data, if you take IoT, these things are going to process, these things are require some processing units or elements that should have high performance kind of stuff. Then only you can get a proper result from that particular algorithm or idea, whatever you have furnished in that various domains. So first of all, as a student, you must know about so many things related to virtualization and cloud computing. Both are integrated. Okay, first you must know what is virtualization, then only you can able to know about cloud computing, because virtualization is a backbone of cloud computing. In this particular session, we are going to discuss about introduction of virtualization, what is hypervisor, types, cloud computing overview, characteristics of cloud, types of service model, deployment models, challenges in cloud, and how we are going to adapt with cloud. What are the things we need to be considered? And one more thing is, I'm going to give a small demo on IBM Cloud. You people already aware of AWS Cloud, as Satish sir said. So I'm going to introduce one new cloud computing platform where you can able to work, or where you can able to deploy your project very easily, and you can get proper result. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
So first, what is virtualization? You have physical resource. Can you able to say that your processor, your storage, or you people are using properly, or you people are utilizing it properly? Can you able to say, sir, my processing unit is keep on working perfectly. I am utilizing as much as I require. Will you able to say like that? For example, if you take a i5 processor, core i5 processor, 4 cores are there, 8 hyper threads are there. Okay, if you take 8 gen, 8 hyper threads are there. So 8 hyper threads, you can able to run some lightweight process on that 8 hyper threads, and you will have 4 cores. Each core is considered as a particular processing capability. So you know that each core you can do up to 2.1 gigahertz in each core. So think about that. Maximum you can extract 8.4 gigahertz of power from one single chip. Can you able to utilize the entire computing power for your operation? Or for example, you are having 1 TB of hard drive. Okay, you have 1 TB of hard drive. Are you using that entire 1 TB of hard drive for your project or for your work? Most of the people, what they are doing, they are partitioning the entire hard drive. They are using a C drive is for what are the applications, operating system, these kind of stuffs are available in that C drive. D drive, they are using for their study materials. E drive for gaming and for videos and other things they are using. F drive or something like that, they are using for some other purpose. Are you people utilizing your storage environment for useful work? Can you able to say like that? Excuse me. Are you using the storage capacity whatever you are having in your computer? Are you using it properly? No. My answer is no. Why? Because we are consuming whatever facilities available in our physical computer only 20 to 40 percentage or 50 percentage max. If you are working with some video rendering or something like that, if you are a good editor, you are doing some you are editing some video, 15 GB video or something like that. That 15 GB video can be like a 30 minutes of total duration. That 30 minutes of duration, you are going to store only that 15 GB video, you are going to render it, you are going to process it. That time only your computation is require much more. But what we people are suggesting our parents, sorry, suggesting your parents, you people are asking your parents, I need i5 processor or i7 processor with minimum 8 GB RAM and 1 TB of hard drive. Nowadays, people are students are very familiar with SSD hard drives, solid state devices. Solid state devices you can boot within 15 seconds. The booting time is very less, 15 seconds, less than 15 seconds. You can get your Windows home screen. So why do we need these kind of fastest devices? Why you are spending huge amount of money? My answer is we are not utilizing whatever capacity, whatever capabilities provided in my computer. 100% I am not utilizing. We are utilizing maximum 40 to 50 percentage. Rest of the 50 percentage or for 60 to 50 to 60 percentage are unused. So I am giving an idea. So we can utilize that kind of things. We can work with different flavors of operating system. We can run multiple applications in different operating system. So how it is possible? It's possible with the help of virtualization. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to abstract my physical resource. My physical resources, i5 processor, 8 GB of RAM, 1 TB of hard drive. Okay, this is my physical resource. Okay, what I'm going to do, I am create one virtual machine on it. Okay, that is nothing but a logical resource. So that logical resource I am creating. Initially, your system is working with Windows operating system. You want to install Mac OS. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Only you can install it. You simply create one virtual machine. You mention how many cores required, how much amount of RAM is required for you guys, how much amount of storage is required for you. You can install on top of that. In that, by using this default configuration, you install Mac OS on that virtual machine. You can enjoy Mac features. Okay, that's the power of virtualization. So why I admired with this particular virtualization? I did my engineering. So during my engineering final year project, I did a project related to Linux virtual load balancer. Okay, so the load balancer require at least three servers. I have done a clustering concept over there. So during the clustering concept, I was in a hurry to avail three servers. That time 2005, you know that imagine that time computational maximum power is a Pentium 4 computers you can able to see. Okay, if I go for server, definitely I should have Xeon processor only. I can make it to make that system as a server. But but that time we didn't have this kind of opportunity to use virtualization concepts. But now you people are very lucky. So you people can able to create as many as virtual machines in your single machine. You can run multiple operating systems, multiple application on that operating system. You can get feel that you are also experience that I am familiar with Mac OS, Macintosh OS. I am familiar with a Linux operating system. I mean SUSE Linux, or if you take Red Hat, Fedora or Ubuntu, you can take any flavors. So here how it works, it's going to abstract your physical resource. You can able to create many logical resources. You can run multiple application on top of that virtual machines. Okay, now I can damn sure say that if you are having as many as virtual machines, your machine is 100% utilized perfectly. Okay, so in your computer architecture, you people in computer architecture and operating system, you people studied about virtual memory concept. So what is meant by virtual memory? Can someone please say what is virtual memory? What is meant by virtual memory, students? Can someone please answer my question? Shall we have some interactive based session like this? What is meant by virtual memory concept? Hello, students, can you able to hear me? Satish sir, am I audible? Satish sir,
Yes, sir.
can someone please tell me what is mean by virtual memory? You studied in your computer architecture and operating system. Which year students, ma, you are in? Hello, students. Which year you students are studying? Hello, I'm talking with you only.
Sir, I'm from second year, sir.
So you haven't come across the term called virtual memory.
No, sir, still now not it.
Okay, you will study about it. For example, you have 4 GB of RAM. Okay, you are executing some program. That program require additional 1 GB or something like that. You can create a virtual memory. Your processor will create a virtual memory, and that virtual memory you can get a space from your hard drive. Once your program is executed, that memory go back to that original space. Okay, so the same thing we are going to use it here. We are going to utilize our physical resources efficiently. Once you turn off that particular virtual machine, you will get your physical resources back to the same form. That's the beauty of virtualization. So you can able to see two ways. Okay, if you are going to see aggregated view means you have multiple storage devices. Okay, so that storage devices are going to be view in front of you as a single device. Okay, you have multiple hard drives, so that the hard drives are clustered. While you are accessing, it will look like a single device. Will look like a single device. Same thing, you have so many CPUs. I mean, your Core i5 is having 4 cores, so 4 different processors are there. So it will look like a single chip. A single chip. You can able to utilize them properly. Okay, that's the power of this one. So hypervisor, it's a very important software program which is going to do these kind of abstraction, which is going to handle the transactions between your physical and virtual resources, because your physical resources are very important. They are going to be served for your virtual kind of things and your physical things. So it is going to be act as an interface between your CPUs, and it's going to manage your virtual machines. So what type of hypervisors are available in real world? We have two types of hypervisor, type 1 and type 2 hypervisor. If you take type 1, it is called as a bare metal architecture. You have underlying hardware. On top of that underlying hardware, okay, you have processor, everything. On top of that, you are installing hypervisor. On that top, you are going to create multiple virtual machine. The best example for this type of hypervisor is VMware vSphere. VMware vSphere ESX. So this is the best example for bare metal hypervisor. What is meant by type 2 hypervisor? Most of the students, most of the faculties, most of the researchers, they are going ahead with the type 2 hypervisor. I mean hosted architecture. You have a hardware. On top of that hardware, you have installed some operating system. On the top of that operating system, you are installing the hypervisor like Oracle VirtualBox or VMware or QEMU emulator, or you can go ahead with the multiple flavors are available in market. You can install any one hypervisor. On top of that, you are going to create multiple VMs. That multiple VMs are running on some guest operating system. This is what type 2 hypervisor. So if you are thinking about virtualization, again, it has two types of virtualization: bare metal or native virtualization, where you are going to utilize your complete hardware and you are going to create multiple operating system on that one. So this kind of architecture is only used in cloud computing. Next one is hosted. Already I said you have one operating system. On top of that, I am installing the hypervisor software. On top of that, I am creating multiple virtual machines. It has equipped with multiple operating system. Most of the students, faculties, researchers, they are always prefer hosted architecture instead of bare metal. So where we can use bare metal, if you need complete hardware performance, then you can go ahead with bare metal, my dear students. Okay. Next one is cloud. Now you can come across the term called cloud everywhere. So what is mean by cloud? What is mean by cloud? Here you can extract four important facilities that's going to be available for you guys through internet. You can able to enjoy unleashed computing power, unlimited storage space. You can enjoy multiple network services, and you are going to get one more feature is called multiple database options. Okay, you can able to handle multiple things with this particular cloud computing. It is going to be provided through an internet based. So it is everything here we are going to view it as a service. Okay, your virtual infrastructure, you can see a software that is also viewed as a service. You're going to pay only how much amount of computing, I mean processing elements you have consumed, how much amount of storage space you have consumed, how much amount of hours you have utilized the network devices like firewalls, IDS, or IDS, intrusion detection and prevention systems, or if you are using some routers, switches, you are going to pay only how much amount of time it has been utilized by you guys. If you are going to purchase a simple scenario, I would like to say, can we have one small interaction? Please unmute yourself. Shall we have one small interaction with you guys? Then only I can explain you in clear manner. So anyone please unmute yourself. I'll ask some questions. You just answer my questions. Okay. Please unmute yourself. Any volunteers, you can join with me. Any interested students, please join with us. Join with me, no problem. Any volunteers? Okay, you have planned any volunteers? Satish sir?
Yes, sir.
Sir, ask your students to interact, sir.
Students, please interact with them.
So I would like to interact. Based on that, I can create a pitch for cloud computing. Can someone please open your mouth? No issues. I can ready to answer your questions. Okay, you have planned to start a startup company. Okay, now for that startup company, what are the things are required? Now you can answer no. I'm not going to be more technical. I'm going to answer. I'm going to need answer only for the requirements to start a company. So what are the things required for you guys to start a company?
Software and hardware based equipment, sir.
Yeah, hardware based equipments means you require softwares. Okay, you have to purchase softwares, and you need to purchase hardware. For example, if you are going to start a company, that company at least 10 employees are there. 10 employees are there. So that 10 employees, they need computers. Okay, their 10 employees require complete internet connection, and if you are providing internet connection, again there is a problem. The employees can misuse that internet, and they can increase the bill or increase the bill of your organization. So what you can do, you have to restrict the activities. Then you have to install a firewall. If you want to convert your public internet into your private network, you require a router. If you want to distribute among all your computers, you require a switch. Okay, these are all the physical devices required for networking. And if you want to store all data in a centralized computer, you require a server. So the cost of the server is minimum 3.5 lakhs and above. And if you are going for firewall, if you go ahead with a FortiGate firewall, definitely it will be around 40 to 50K minimum range. And if you are going for switch, definitely you can go with in Cisco base, means definitely it will be cost huge. And if you want to go with the router, definitely that is also costly. So obviously, if you want to start a company for infrastructure without the computers, this is which is going to be assigned to employees. I'm talking about the basic infrastructure, which is going to look like a small data center, small piece of data center. So you have to spend at least 10 lakhs, my dear students. Think about that. 10 lakhs you have to spend only for your organizational setup, infrastructure setup. This cost is known as upfront cost. Upfront cost. The cost of the upfront cost, how you are going to how you are going to spend. You have to borrow you have to borrow money from some banks or some other means. So definitely you need to have huge capital investment for starting a company. But cloud, it simply make everything for very cheap price. You know that, my dear students, the cost of the server 3.5 lakhs. No, you can create one EC2 instance, Amazon EC2 instance, or Azure VM with the same capability, very less amount, less than, my dear students, very very less than. And if you want to utilize centralized storage space 1 TB or 10 TB or 100 TB, it will be very less than, I think, 10 to $20. Okay. And the static IP, you will get one static IP, my dear students. If you want to buy a static IP from your service provider, you have to spend 2,000 rupees static IP only for your organizational internet. Your organization internet. So usually we are getting internet from service provider. No, that service provider will change the IP address dynamically based on the availability. No, sir, I want a permanent IP address for my connection alone. Means you have to go ahead with static IP. The cost of the static IP, I think, 2,000 plus, 2,000 rupees and plus. Now the same static IP concept you can avail from cloud computing service provider like Azure or Amazon or Google. You will get it for very cheap cost, my dear students, less than 700 rupees. You will get a complete static IP. And if you want to host your website, company website, so you have to go to GoDaddy. You have to purchase a domain. You have to purchase a domain, need to be available. If it is not available, you have to compromise on that domain name and other things. If you want to purchase if you want to create a website, you have to contact some third party. Here everything you can do it by your own. Okay, you can launch it in Amazon by using S3 bucket. You can launch a website, you can get a domain name, and you can upload it. You can simply launch it among people. That's it. Very very fine way. So it is very very cost effective, very very inexpensive, my dear students. You can promote your business. You have to ultimately concentrate on business. Rest of the thing will be maintained everything by your cloud computing service provider. But the physical thing, if you are going to install, if you are going to set up in your organization, definitely you have to appoint 2 or 3 admins, or at least you have to appoint one admin. That admin also require that much experience. Then only he can manage this kind of setup. Okay, so we are going to avail the resources in the form of services over the internet. That's going to be enabled to individuals and organization to use cloud computing in effective way. So what are the characteristics of cloud computing? On-demand self-service. If you want immediately, you can get it easily. If you have basic knowledge on networking, you can excel in cloud computing. Seriously, my dear students, if you have basic knowledge on networking, if you understand the concepts of networking, you can definitely excel. You will become an expert in cloud computing. On-demand self-service means everything is available based on your demand. You can create it. That's the power of this one. And you will get multiple network devices, services. You can access them and you can customize them based on your requirement. Next one is you have plenty of resources. You can pick from the resource pool. You can use it, you can configure it, and you can enjoy it. That's it. Because you are going to pay only how much you consume, that amount only, how much hours you consume. If it is related to processor, I mean compute, how much amount of storage space you utilized, that is related to storage. How many databases you have been created, that is also coming under storage, no problem. How many network resources you have created, how much hours you have utilized that network resources, that much only you are going to pay. It's going to be very very cheap. If you are going to start a startup company, my suggestion as a consultant, I am giving a suggestion, you can go ahead with cloud computing. It's better. Next one is rapid elasticity. So if you can go with auto scaling option. Auto scaling option means you need not to worry anything. So if your demand is increasing, if you are getting more response from your customers, your customer view is huge on your website, it will automatically increase the resources. One fine day you are getting less responses, it is reduce the capacity. That's the power of elasticity, rapid elasticity. The final one is everything is metering here. How your EB is charging you guys. Okay, you have a meter, separate meter for your home. So how much amount of electricity you are consuming, that much only you are paying. No, same scenario here we have to use. So the same way you will get a meter where you can see how much amount of resources you have been consumed. So that amount only going to be charged from your end. These are all the some of the characteristics of cloud computing. Can you able to hear me, ma? Students? Can you able to hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, next one is cloud service model. As I said, everything in cloud as viewed as a service. So your infrastructure that also viewed as a service. Your platform where you are going to create a project, where you are going to check your project, testing your project, that is also viewed as a service. And you have some ready-made softwares. You know that. Who is a market leader in SaaS, SaaS, software as a service? Zoho. World. If you take worldwide scenario, Zoho, Indian company, you know that Zoho, a famous company, an Indian company, they are the number one company in software as a service field. Okay. Now, infrastructure as a service, you are going to get the infrastructure from your provider. You will get three types of infrastructure services. One is compute, storage, and network. Compute, you are going to get number of processors, okay, and storage, huge amount of space and devices like routers, switches, firewall, intrusion detection and prevention systems, and other devices that is going to be provided by your provider. I mean your service provider. Your thing is you have to install one operating system, you have to use some data, and you have to install your application where it is going to run. Next one is platform as a service. Here you will get operating system as well as the databases. Okay, you will get operating system as well as databases that is going to be provided by your provider. You have to create an application, you have to launch that application. That's all. Okay. Third one is software as a service. Here everything is available. You just open an account. You just give your customization things. They will do everything. You simply sit in your office. Everything will be taken care by them. You just have a look on that. You can generate whatever kind of reports you can generate it in your flavor of report. You can download it. That is the beauty of software as a service. Okay, I would like to contrast again. So in provider side, you will get compute, storage, network in infrastructure. In provider side, you will get compute, storage, network, OS, and databases in platform as a service. And in SaaS, you will get everything. You need not to worry about how to create application also. You have an organization, that's enough. You will get everything in cloud service models. Next one is the deployment model. Now I am going to deploy my application. What are the ways I can deploy? What are the ways I can introduce cloud computing in my organization? So we have multiple choices. Public cloud. Public cloud, you know that AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, IBM, these are all called as public cloud. So any user, any group of organization, they can create their account, they can avail resources, they can configure them, they can enjoy them. They have to pay only money based on the measured service. They have to pay it. So any enterprise, they can utilize their infrastructure. The infrastructure is like they will get dedicated servers, they will get storage arrays, they will get routers, switches, firewalls, and other kind of things, and they can just have an account. They can customize it according to that one. The rest of the thing will be taken care of by your service provider. And the data centers are available 99 the high availability time. Okay, high availability. The cloud computing provides high availability. Why? Because it provides 99.91% available resources for you guys to run your business successfully, my dear students. Okay, next one is some of the major popular cloud service providers, public providers. Amazon Web Services, you people are aware of it, as Satish sir said. Next one is Microsoft Azure, because Amazon Web Services, why it is so popular? Because he is holding 80% of total shares of cloud computing industry. The best choice of most of the startups are Amazon Web Services. Next one is Microsoft Azure. He is holding around 10 to 15% of total share in cloud industry. The next one is Google Cloud. He is also holding some 6 to 7%. DigitalOcean, Oracle, Salesforce, and IBM. These people are holding some 2 to 3% of total share in market. But Amazon is holding around 80% of total share in cloud computing industry. The most preferable cloud service provider, according to Gartner report, is Amazon Web Services. The next one is private cloud. For example, if you want to set up a cloud environment for only Panimalar Engineering College, okay, you can go ahead with that one. It's going to restrict the activities. It's going to allow only the users, those who are studying and those who are working in Panimalar. And how can I set up it? I can set up in two different ways: on-premises private cloud or externally hosted private cloud. So on-premises means I am going to set up, I'm going to purchase servers, I'm going to purchase storage arrays, I'm going to purchase routers, switches, firewalls, whatever I require. I'm going to set it up as an infrastructure. I'm going to connect all my users. This is known as on-premises. Here you have to maintain everything by yourself. Okay. Next one is externally hosted. Sir, I don't have that much of capacity. I don't have that much of investment. So what you can do, you can approach some providers. They are dedicatedly go ahead for private cloud. You can set up private cloud by using this particular scenario. Hello, can you able to hear me, students? Can you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. So you can get these services dedicated for your organization from the service providers. So what are the companies they are providing? As I said, public cloud providers, Azure, AWS, IBM, Google, these are people, Oracle and Salesforce. What are the companies they are providing dedicated externally hosted private cloud for our organization? Some of the companies, Havel Packard Enterprise, HPE Cloud. It's a dedicated top 5 private cloud service provider. Oracle, it is also in public, also in private. VMware, the famous company in virtualization, they are also having a cloud called vCloud. It is dedicated private cloud for enterprises. Next one is your IBM Cloud. IBM Cloud is available in, I'm going to show you the demo. IBM Cloud is operate on two ways, public as well as private. Any enterprise, they can get the code from IBM. They can use IBM Cloud Private, means organization prefer IBM Cloud Private. Next, Dell is also a market leader in Dell is also a market leader in private cloud setup. Okay, so this is called externally hosted. But how I am going to set up on-premises private cloud? What are the things I need to do, sir? Yes, my dear students, you have to use software like OpenNebula, Eucalyptus. So these kind of OpenStack, these kind of softwares are going to help you to create your own compute engine, your own dashboard for providing the cloud computing services to your organizational people. You can set up by your things. You can give all services like big data service. You can do. You can, if you want to do IoT, you can do. That is also done by using OpenStack. Note it down, my dear students. So open source software, which is going to be very helpful for setting up private cloud. But my organization doesn't have that much of investment. But still, I need to introduce my own cloud for my employees, for my stakeholders. Then you can contact any one of these people, because these people are top 5 people in private cloud service providers. Next one is community cloud. Now, the simple thing, the people may get confusion in community cloud. Panimalar, SRM, going to do some common research. Okay, Panimalar and SRM going to do some common research on AI or IoT. Okay, So these two colleges, they want to store their data in a common place, because we are all coming under a same interest group. We call it as same interest group, SIGs. Okay, Padimalar and SRM. We are going to join together and we are going to do some common research where we have to store everything in a common place. That type of cloud is called as community cloud. I can set up my community cloud either in Panimalar or either in my SRM data center, or I can go ahead with public service providers also. So, what are the things I can expect from community cloud? So, your users are very private. Okay, so you can avail more and more public services, and government and other bodies are also using this one, and they are going to get infrastructure from third party cloud providers. Okay, they are going to get development platforms from public cloud, and application services from public cloud, and they are going to use it for all purpose. For example, you know that you heard a company called NIC. It is a government company, National Informatics Center. Do you know what is the role? If you see any government website, it will be coming with nic.in. So nic.in is a cloud they are having a cloud setup. In that cloud setup, you can see all Indian government services. All Indian government services are running on the particular cloud. So the law department can able to see the finance department data. The finance department data can able to see, because these people are clustered under the self interest group or same interest group. So this cloud is known as community cloud. The final one is hybrid cloud. If you have already a private cloud at Panimalar Engineering College, now you are expecting high speed or high performance computing. It is not possible because you are already invested lot in your data center. Now you want to do that project, but you are lacking high performance computing. So what I need to do? Simply you can connect your data center with a public cloud. Then it is known as hybrid cloud. It is a combination of a private and public is known as hybrid cloud. Whenever you are getting lack in your computing or storage or whatever it may be, you can go ahead with hybrid cloud. You can simply connect your infrastructure with public cloud like AWS, Azure, or IBM. You can make it as a hybrid. Okay, what are the challenges in cloud computing? We have multiple challenges, my dear students. The first one is security and privacy. Always people think about my cloud, whether cloud is having proper security or not. Yes, it has security now, privacy also available, but people always think about security and privacy. If anyone having your identity like username and password and other things, they can easily make a problem for you guys, and security breaches also like that only. So you have to go ahead with the two-way authentication or three-way authentication. Or if you want to make your employees under one roof, you can go ahead with IAM. You can write some rules. You can provide security and privacy like this. Next one is availability and reliability. Definitely it is powerful, but still if you are going for private cloud, you have to set up a gensets for providing uninterrupted power supply. You know that Azure data center, which is located in Dublin, Ireland, the size of the generator genset, which is providing uninterrupted power supply. If any power cut happen, it has to provide a power supply. No, the size of the power supply is around 5 floors size. 5 floors. Okay, so it is providing the uninterrupted power supply to entire data center. Next one is portability. Some people are thinking cloud is that much portable. Yes, now they are moving into BYD concept. Since it is working like BYD concept, bring your own device, no problem. Whatever capacity device you are having, you can access. Still, I am using my mobile for accessing my cloud setups and everything. Performance, yes, of course. These are all some of the things related to private, but public wise, you are getting. Next one is service quality. Yes, quality of service is major factor here. They are providing services efficiently, but still, if you are going for private, this is also one important thing. The final one is interoperability. Interoperability means you purchased Palo Alto firewall, you purchased Juniper firewall, you purchased Cisco firewalls. How you are going to make them under a single management console which is developed by you guys for your private cloud? That is a very big challenge here. But what we have to do, we have to identify the common factor, how I can interconnect multiple vendor product under a single same single platform. That's possible. You have to find out the solution. The solution, sometimes you can connect with a load balancer, you can connect with some other device, you can provide it. So what are the things we need to be consider for cloud adaptations? So you have to be consider five important key factors. The first one is a selection of your proper deployment model. Based on your team size, based on your project, based on your investment, you have to select either private or public. Community and hybrid is different. First, you have to be consider whether I need to go for my own infrastructure or service provider infrastructure. I mean, public or private. You have to decide it. Next, the application which you are making, whether it is suitable for cloud or not. Next one is if I'm going to cloud, what type of advantage I'm getting. That's also need to be considered related to finance. Next, you have multiple service providers. Which service provider is best? Which service provider is best? You have to be think about that. The final one is, once you have selected your service provider, you will sign a mutual agreement called as service level agreement. In that service level agreement, you and your service providers are going to be signed the terms and condition, everything is furnished, so you can have a look on that, you can sign in that one. The final one is benefits for student and faculty. Lot of service providers, they are providing opportunity to students and faculty to learn and deploy their project was in their own infrastructure for free of cost, my dear students. So you can go ahead with AWS. Already Satish sir has given information about AWS Educate. You know that Microsoft Azure, he is also providing free tier account for students. Even GCP, Google Cloud Platform, also providing free tier access to the students. I have given some links. I will share this PPT to Satish sir. He will share it to you guys. You can enjoy, but still everything need to be very limited. Any doubts so far, my dear students? Do you have any doubts? Hello, students. Do you have any doubts? Hello. So far, do you have any doubts, students? Satish sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that
Shall I
was a
go?
nice session, sir. Thank you, sir.
I'll
Thank
go.
you so much.
I will go with demo, sir.
Yes. Okay, sir. Okay.
That will be fine for them to have a
Students,
look on
please
the
see the
dashboard.
demo. It will be very useful for you. It is very interesting as well. Please watch.
Students, already Sir has taught you about this one, AWS. He has given some information about AWS. Now, none of the college, I have handled so many sessions for multiple colleges. First time, I'm going to show the demo on IBM Cloud. So most of the people always show the demo on AWS. Okay. Why I'm going to show demo on IBM? Because IBM is also providing cloud. No, you must know about it. Already I'm having an account. So this is your console. This is called a console where you can see the things related to your cloud computing. Okay. So you can see a resource summary. I created one storage bucket for my project, my PhD work. It is active. You can see how I can see active in the green tick. You know that if I go there, one resource is running. So now I'm going to show you what are the things are there. This is my dashboard. Okay, if click on my dashboard, this is my dashboard. I can see what are the services are available. This particular service, okay, this is dashboard. Next one is, if I want to use Cloud Foundry, I can go ahead with Cloud Foundry. Next one is, if I want to use some functions, function as a service. You have created one program, you have created some application function. If you want to run that functions to multiple, that is also possible here as a function as a service. Next one is Kubernetes. If you want to create lightweight machines, lightweight virtual machines, Kubernetes is a better option. Okay, containers. Next one is Dockers. So I mean containers inside of it called Dockers. Next one is a Kubernetes. Kubernetes is most powerful and lightweight process handler, which is going to run multiple virtual machines, and you need not to worry about your resources. Next one is can you able to see my demo? Can you able to see the see the screen, students? Sir Satish sir, can you able to see the screen, sir?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
sir.
Hello, please, students, can you able to see the
Yes,
IBM
sir.
Cloud? Yeah. Next one is I am giving the services. Next one is OpenShift. OpenShift. Yeah. Next one is you can see here. If you want to work with satellite kind of images, if you want to download, means you can get it from satellite, and you have already created some virtual machines on your VMware. Okay, if you want to convert that workload into cloud, okay, how it is possible? It's possible to use that virtual machine which is deployed on your VMware hypervisor. If you want to convert it to cloud, means it is possible in Oracle Cloud. And next one is if you want to know about your VPC, virtual private cloud, your own infrastructure. If you want to connect with cloud, means I mean your own network infrastructure are available in Panimalar. If you want to connect that network with cloud for inbound and outbound communication, I mean incoming and outgoing communication, you can go with virtual private cloud. Next one is if you want to go for security and compliance, you have multiple things. And if you want to go for if you want to go for code engine, you can check your codes and other things. So this is what something related to that. For example, if you want to create, or if you want to work with IBM Watson projects also, that is also possible, my dear students here. Yeah. If you want to monitor your resource, see, I'm going to show my resource status. So I have created only one resource, that is also a storage thing. I'm going to show how it is working. I'm having poor net, sorry guys, I'm having poor net, it's taking time.
Anwar sir, what is the difference between
So see,
AWS and then this IBM Cloud?
nothing is that, sir. Everything is public cloud, sir.
Okay, do we require a credit card information for creating account in this?
Yes. Of course. Same
Even
like
this is
that.
free, right? For 1 year?
This is free only. I got it for my project. Okay, so you see my resources. How can I monitor? Everything is available. Students, you are new to the cloud. You can also read the content. Everything is available for you guys. Okay, so everything you can have a look on that. Okay, so this is for example, if I want to go monitoring. Okay, so you can see. So I didn't set up this one, because why I didn't set up? Because if I want to go for monitoring again, I need to pay some amount. So these are all some of the things. For example, if you want to do a project related to Apple products, you can go with this Apple service. If you want to do project related to blockchain, you can go ahead with this blockchain service. And if you want to do project, if you want to integrate something with your this one, you can go with, and you can use Watson. You know, IBM Watson is a famous thing where you can do AI based on chatbots or something like that. You can go with that one also, the IBM Watson. So these are all things are available for you guys. You can see the catalog. What are the services are available for you? You can get it. You can get the services. You can get a complete information. So recommended for you. This is also you can see in detailed manner. Watson Assistant. Why? It is going to be very helpful for any application or device or channel. You can build your own conversational instance. DB2 IBM based databases, you can get it in form of DB2. And if you want to do some NLP project, okay, natural language processing, if you want to convert your speech to text, that service also available here. And if you want to go for object storage, because object storage means PDF, video, audio, image, instead of block level, here you can use object storage also. Okay, and we have so many softwares. If you want to get any consulting from IBM, you can contact here also. Okay, so these are all some of the important view about your IBM cloud products. So you see how many products are available. 350 products available for you to customize and build your application, and you can use it for your business. That will fulfill your business. For example, any help docs required, you can click on this doc. Any support required, 24/7 support is available, email, phone, whatever. And if you want to manage your things, you can see billing and usage. You can have a look on this. As Sadish sir asked billing and usage. Here you are going to see your payments. That's all information. So usage, I haven't run. See, this is IBM Cloud, but he is asking you guys any help you require. So billing items, I don't have anything. So that's why it's showing anything. Okay, payments, any payments are pending, invoices, commitment, subscription. So whatever things you are doing, everything you can get it from here. So this is my own thing where I can get everything about me. Okay, so if I want to log out, I can easily log out from here. Okay, students. So if I want to log out, I can go ahead here, the corner, the user symbol. I can log out. For example, if I want to work with my CLI, okay, command line interface. I don't want to use this user interface. I mean, graphical user interface. Instead of that, I can go with CLI. Or if I want to use my Oracle Cloud, this particular IBM Cloud on my application, my own application, which one I deployed. Okay, if I want to provide Oracle Cloud, for example, your Padimalar website. Okay, your Padimalar website gives providing an opportunity to a Padimalar students to log in through their using their website. They can log into IBM Cloud. Means that is also possible, all because of API. That is also possible here. And here, if you want to know about anything, guided tools are available. If you want to make some privacy settings, you can go ahead, and I can log out now. This will ask, do you want to log out? Yes, of course I want to log out. So this is something about IBM Cloud. Any doubt in this? Hello?
No, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay, Sairi, shall we conclude? Hello? Sairi? I think she has got some problem in her mic. Thank you, Anwar Basha sir. That was a wonderful session. Students
Thank
have
you,
also
sir.
learnt the demo of IBM Cloud as well. Once again, on behalf of Panimalar Engineering College and Institute Innovation Council, I thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
sir.
so much, sir.
Thank you, ma. Thanks for
Guys,
the coordination.
thank you, sir. Guys, I've posted
Any
a
doubts?
feedback form in the
Satish sir, shall I leave?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah,
Students, please
thank
fill
you.
the feedback form.
Thank you, sir.